Hello, everybody. This is Anuj Tripathi, and you are watching the Review Universe. So, welcome back to another episode of the Review Universe, where we have conversation with authors regarding their journey, their book, and the stories behind their book. So, today a very special guest joining with us, Manika Sharma. Manika Sharma is a mother, an educator, a curriculum designer, and also she has recently published a book called Raising Buddha in Modern World. She has worked with over more than thousand of families within 20 years of her experience, and she just poured all of her experience in a book called Raising Buddha in Modern World. So let's understand from Manika herself the stories behind this book and the inspiration behind this book. So welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Anuj, and thanks for this introduction.
So, starting from the first question, um, as our audience is meeting you for the first time, so could you share a little short intro about you and your journey?
Sure, I'll try to stay connected to the topic of the day, which is my published book, one of the published book, which is Raising Buddha in the Modern World. So, really speaking, it's originated, I'll say, 20 years back. That's with my firstborn son. And the reason this book has come into place is the gap that I experienced myself as a parent and as an educator in the world that we live in. So, primarily in the current world where we are living in, nuclear families is something which is much, much, much more than it ever was before.
Mhm.
And one of the things is that even though we all know and we understand the benefits of joint family system, but unfortunately the circumstances most of the time don't permit us to have that. Now, what happens is that in the journey, when you are in that particular place and you don't have that guidance, you end up looking out for the answers and that support system. And now, more than ever before, the changing world in which we are raising our children is the key thing that I feel that this topic of parenting, looking from a very different lens, is the need of the hour. And I have two of my own children, so already raised them, and I have applied this approach, or I would say the way that I see parenting to be, and that's where raising Buddha actually has come from.
Okay, so with this intro itself, like we can understand the idea behind this book of yours. So exactly what are the inspiration, or we can say what are the starting points where you started this book, and what is the actual idea behind this book or starting this book?
Sure. So I'll say the starting of the book happened 20 years back in the hospital when first time I held my son in my arms, because we were in US and there was no support system, and all of a sudden I was standing there with this soul in my hand, and I knew I had to guide him, but how will I do it? And that's when I started researching and learning a lot about what was around in the world around and in neuroscience field. Or because we were me and my husband, both of us have been meditators since before my son was born as well. So meditation has been a very important thing which has guided me into the collective course, or you can say the awareness coming into the picture, that how I can guide my child better in the world over here as well. So that was the first trigger when the first seed of this book was actually placed in place, that how do I raise him in this particular world that we are living? So that
Okay,
was my treatment.
okay.
Yeah.
So one thing like from your answer, like the difference between joint family and nuclear family. So what are the actual problems you have faced, or you want to tell the parents that they will be facing in their life?
Wisdom, one of the biggest thing of all. See, when you are in a joint family system, we don't realize the amount of wisdom which is there around us.
Yeah.
And that is something that when you are all alone, you are somewhere maybe a parent who is between 25 to 35 years of age. There's a whole set of life in front of you. And more importantly, when you have your child, That's your first experience as a parent. You have never been a parent. See, unfortunately, we think that parenting is natural. There is a lot that goes into divine parenting, I'll say. I like calling it, there's a difference between animal parenting and divine parenting. And
Yeah,
that is the topic that I have covered in the book as well. That what's the difference between two? Because animal parenting is just, you are just raising a child without any purpose, a deeper, higher purpose behind that. But when you are in a joint family system, suddenly you are infused that support system that comes from your elders, that wisdom of years that comes. You miss on that. So that is, I think, one of the biggest difference between the nuclear family and the joint family system that happens. I know, I understand there are many challenges that come as well, but we cannot underestimate the beauty of it as well.
definitely. Okay, so following on this same question, like about like people prefer to be in a nuclear family in these times. Okay, so before becoming a parent, did they should learn something, like they should have some basic uh, knowledge itself before becoming a parent, or it should go naturally?
So, see, parenting is not something that happens once the baby is there. Once the baby is there, you have already become a parent. And there is the whole science of your DNA and genetics that come at play, which happens before the baby is born. So, if you will look in the book as well, in the third part of it, you will see a flow which actually starts when you start thinking of having a baby. Because that is when your parenting journey actually starts. It doesn't start after the baby is there. Because by that time, you're already in it. But what about the preparation part of it? See, when you give an exam, do you give the exam and study, or do you study for it before and then you give the exam?
Definitely, we will study for it before the exam.
That's it. That's it. Because if you don't prepare yourself and you just jump into it, then you are just going with the flow because you don't even know what's happening. One of the biggest challenges currently in the current world are screens. I'll just take one of them. Your cell phones, your screens, your media, which is around. If I, as a parent, I don't know how much when I have to introduce to my child, I'll just go with the flow and unconsciously I'm introducing these things in the environment for my child, which are actually going to backfire. And the time has been lost. So the answer to your question is it starts before.
Okay. Okay. So another follow-up question on the screens part. Like we have already seen like the new parents who just hold their phones to their kids. Okay. So is this good or bad sign? Like we all know in general sense like this is bad. Okay. So what are the actual answer you can say, like they should be distracted for some time so that they can do their work, or they shouldn't do that?
See, the way I look at it is that I'm a very strong believer of the thing that there is no parent in this world who would deliberately do something wrong for the child. It's really speaking the situation, the challenges, or no other strategy for me. And that understanding there's a gap there. I, as a parent, I have to do my work.
Mhm.
Again, to the first thing when we were talking about nuclear family system, I
Yeah.
don't have a support system that my child, what will my child do when I'm sitting in a meeting? And that is where you start learning about the techniques and the things that you can have in the environment for the child while you're working and the child is really occupied with those things. So when you understand these nuances better, that is when you are really able to make a change with the decisions that you are taking with your child. Now, screens is not just about watching video. There is a lot more that goes in it. There are frequencies, there is the role of your brain development, which plays a role. We see these days, especially, there is a lot of children who have the issue of late. They start talking late. There's a delay in speech.
Mhm.
Now, why that delay in speech happens is there's a science behind it. Because a child's brain learns from lip movement and especially human interaction. But now, when you move and introduce screen for a child, that human interaction is gone. And it is not once over my last 20 years of experience, again and again. Their children, their parents, they come to me and we say, the first thing when I see a delay in speech for the child, I ask parents, is there screen involved? And you'll be amazed that 99.99% it's there. And the moment it is gone, within 1 month, we can start seeing change in the child picking up the pace and speech and all those things as well. So, yes, screens are there, but it is like I have actually done a short video on my YouTube channel to educate parents on this whole idea. It's a very short video, but I'll request parents to go and watch it because I explained it over there. I'll just bring it out on this channel over here as well. See, for example, if we have electric stock sockets in our house, do you keep it open for your child to play with it? No.
Definitely not.
We gradually introduce it. Why? Because it is power. And we teach a child that how to use that power. Same way, screens are power. But if I, as an adult, I also don't know how to use this power, first of all,
Yeah.
how will I actually help my child learning and giving that wisdom that this is how you use this power? And there's a time to it as well.
Okay. So, does these things affect the study or the brain development of the kids as well, like in the later
Absolutely.
period? Like
Yes.
they are
Yes.
not much interested in reading the books or doing the basic homeworks and all.
So the first thing we have to understand over here is that what our brain is actually built of. See, our brain is there are multiple regions in our brain, and each and every region during the first 3 years, more than the first 6 years, but if you can say first 6 years, there's so much neural connections which are happening in our brain. And these neural connections are the foundation of everything that is going to come later into my life. May it be my belief system, my habits, my skill set, my understanding, my emotional intelligence, my IQ as well. Everything that happens is first, these 6 years are building the foundation for me. So when we talk about screens, IQ wise, sometimes we do think that, okay, my child is learning something. I'm playing educational content for my child. So then hence it is good. That is many times that is a justification for
Mo-
showing screens to the child, right?
Most of the
But
times.
I'll say yeah, sometimes. But sometimes it is more about I don't know how to occupy my child, and that's the reason I give screen to my child. So you
Mhm.
have these two key issues which are actually playing a role. So the second one, let's take the second one. That what about the learning capacity, the skill setting of a child? The child might be learning from the screens. They might become good learners. The IQ part of it is something that is happening. But the EQ part of it, the emotional quotient, because I start believing that this screen is an individual. My brain does not understand the social interaction part of it. Hence the problem when a child goes to a school setting. Because I don't know how to interact with a human being. But we are humans. Our energy exchanges are constant. And there is constant exchange of information between us as well. So the IQ of the child, that area of the brain might be getting developed. But then there are so many other gaps which are left, which cannot be fulfilled by screens. So that's the reason that we need to make sure that we understand how much when I have to introduce. Because it is not that you don't have to use it. This is the, you can say, this is the current world. And that is the reason that I specifically put the in the title, in the modern world I have written. You cannot remove screens in the modern world.
Exactly.
They have to be there. But I, as a parent, as an educator, need to know how much, when, and what has to be introduced.
Okay, so we have talked about the problems. So, did you have already you have mentioned some of the ways or solutions of these problems as well. So, you can you share some of them for the parents who are watching this podcast?
Sure. The first and foremost, the first thing that you need to really work on is me, myself, as a parent. I can only guide my child if I understand myself better. That is the starting point of it. If I start understanding that how do I behave, why, what is the goal of my parenting, why I am parenting my child in a certain manner, is there a subconscious thing that is playing a role in my parenting as well? So, understanding and knowing yourself first is the very first step that we have to take. We feel parenting is about the child. It is actually a journey which we take together. The more I start connecting to myself as a parent, I start becoming more aware, the better will be my guidance for my child. So, when do I get stressed? What do I do when I get stressed? How do I talk to my child? What are the actions that I take around my child? What are the kind of things that I watch, hear, communicate? Everything is part of parenting. So that's the first thing that we need to start connecting to my own self, becoming aware of who I am as an individual.
Okay, so one question, like I have a doubt in my mind, like it
Mhm.
just came across, like
Yeah.
in our childhood, we most of the times or some of the times we can say, we got beaten up when we do mistakes. So what your take on this, like in this current times?
Okay. So we'll go back to the neuroscience on this one. A very simple and easy way to understand this whole beating thing,
Yeah.
For the ease of understanding, I'll make it very, very simple for the words. You can say that our brain is divided into broadly two parts. This part here, you can say, is a survival brain or animal brain. And this part here is the unique part of humans, frontal cortex. This is where everything happens. All the beautiful part of understanding, logic, and all of that happens. Now, when you are in fear, shame, guilt, anger, any of these emotions, when they are there, at that point of time, my survival brain gets activated.
Okay.
My survival brain understands only two things: flight or fight. I'll either run away from the situation or I'll fight it back. But if you will say that I'll start understanding that what has happened, which is part of my frontal cortex, that will not happen because my brain is working from here, not from here. Now, when we beat a child, that is the extreme part. Which part of the brain will get activated for the child? Obviously, survival
Definitely
brain.
survival.
Why are you beating your child? What is the purpose behind it? Go back to that. Is it your fear because of which you are taking this action? So that means that you yourself are responding to the situation from a survival brain. And your action is also from the survival instinct. So isn't it animal parenting?
Definitely.
That's not a divine parenting.
Okay, I got the answer. Okay,
Yeah.
so from this, let's get back to the book itself. So, talking about the books, you have some inspirations before writing the book. Like, what are the challenges you have faced while writing the book, for from drafting to publishing? What are the challenges you have faced?
So this book, like I said, it took literally speaking 20 years because it is how much time I saw what I was applying when I was doing something with my own children. how it was coming. And I learned so much from them. And that has been primarily the culmination of the book, when I know that, they're old enough, and the things that I learned from them, I have incorporated them as well into this book here. Coming from a challenge perspective, like any other parent, when you are on the job, you learn a lot. So there is so much that theoretically it would make sense that yes, we will do that. But really speaking, at the when you are applying it, at the application part, that is where your challenge comes at play. That is when you are really tested that what you are saying, does that really work or no? It doesn't work. It is just into the books or something like that. It is just written, you know. So I'll say the biggest test of all was applying it to my own children. All that is just, written over here, and seeing them growing up and finally saying that, oh no, this works and this does not work. So I need to readjust myself and, look back, reflect, reorient my own self, work on my own self. I think that's another very, 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 that's a biggie of all.
So
Working on yourself.
admitting yourself that you are in fault is the big thing itself. That's
Absolutely. The most difficult one.
yeah. Okay. So are you also planning to write some other books following this book?
Oh, well, there is another book that after this one that I've written, which is called The Seven C's. That is on early age education, actually. So these two books for me go hand in hand, because I really feel that if we really want to make a change into the world, then there are two key areas on which we have to work. One is parenting and one is early age education. So for parents who are in with the early age children, that is literally speaking, put in a curriculum for them or the child to raise a holistic child. See, one of the things that I have mentioned in this book, which is the crux of this whole idea of why raising Buddha, why not somebody else, why not Einstein for that matter, why Buddha, is because when we look at a being, when we look at an individual, we think that, so for example, for you, Manika is what? Manika is this physical form, or maybe the mind behind it. But what we forget is that I am not just these two things. I am my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, my spiritual body, my soul intact as well. How I am connected and work with people around and nature around as well. So, until and unless all these things come together, we will be missing something or the other. So, while in raising Buddha, I have touched it from the perspective of a parent, but how you are practically going to do it is what the seven C's tells you in the teaching part of it as well. So, that is my second book, which is there, other than the storybooks for the children.
Okay, got it. Okay, so with this, like what you actually do, if some parent wants to connect with you for the advice and all, so how can they connect with you? Like after this book, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is there, the7cs.co.in. That is there, and my email ID is as well over there. They're more than welcome to, if they are on LinkedIn, they can connect me from there, or they can send me an email, and I will love to hear from them.
Will add the all of these links in the description itself, so they can
Sure.
get from there. Also, one last message from you to the parents, as this is the end of the podcast. So, anything you want to say to the parents?
You all are doing great. You all are doing amazing work. It's not that you're not putting in enough. But the world is changing, the things around us are changing. We cannot continue the parenting style which our parents raised us in. We need to upskill our parenting and look at it and understand the environment in which we are raising our children. That will be my last message.
Got it. Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am. So everybody who is watching this podcast, you can just go to the description. There are all the links there, and the link of the book itself, Raising Buddha in Modern World. So you can go and check out and leave your review on the Amazon itself, like how you like this book. You can message ma'am as well, directly on the LinkedIn or some other platforms. We will mention all of that. So thank you so much. Keep reading. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Anuj.